Denial is a river in Egypt and karma isn't real? You're going to want to stick around for this God Friended Me After show.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
The squad is here. We're in the building. What's going on, guys? We got the whole panel with us today for the God Friended Me After show. Super excited to be here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the After Show. This is season 2, episode 7, Instant Karma, which is exactly what some of these people think they have going on in their lives, and we're talking all about it today. So before we get started, my girl who always has a word of God on the brain, this is one of our hosts, Sally.
Hey, what's going on?
And our good friend of God and God Friended Me super fan, Rochelle in the house.
Hey, friend, hey.
And always in touch with her South Side and getting us to see the love in the episode, Mina Wahab.
Hey, guys.
Thank you guys again for tuning in. So we have a few topics we want to talk. We want to talk denial because we think something's going on with Arthur Finer here and maybe a little bit with Allie. And then we want to talk about the concept of karma not being real. Is that the case? We will go into more details on that. And the number 11, because it was so symbolic throughout the whole show. We're diving deep on that. And you'll want to stick around because we have a little bit of news and gossip and our special segment, God Speaks. So let's party, ladies.
So excited.
Yes. What did you guys think about the show overall? Instant Karma.
Ooh, well, hello. Everybody jump in at once.
Yeah. What did you think, Sally?
Well, I was just going to say it's pretty dope to touch on the topic of karma, especially how this being a godly show. Not saying that nothing's wrong with having karma, but it's either one or the other. Some people say they believe like in the universe or they believe in karma. So it's really cool to touch on a topic that some believe and some don't. So I thought it was pretty dope.
Yeah, I just had this conversation recently with someone who's like a believer, and I was like, well, can you believe in karma and believe in Jesus? Like, how do you put all your faith in Jesus and believe that this is already, like, if your sins have already been paid for, then how does karma exist? So it was a very deep and interesting conversation. So I piggyback off Rochelle. Like, it's a really great topic to talk about, especially on a show like this, because it really challenges your belief system and really forces you to like look in the mirror and look deeper into what you believe in and why you believe in it. Because I think it's important to get to those answers. Like, that's part of the journey of whatever your faith walks look like. It doesn't matter what it is. I pray that you're, following what makes you the best you. But in that process, really hold strong to it. And not that you have to defend it, but there should be some sort of sense of pride within yourself of how you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the whole concept of the show is whether karma or not is real. I think it's whatever it means to you, whatever you believe in, like what Franceli's saying. And I think, I don't know, this episode, it triggered me in so many ways that I don't know if I'm going to get into every way it triggered me, but I just felt like there was a lot of themes of guilt and, oh, I wish I didn't do this, and now look at what happened because I did this one thing. And I don't know, I felt like I could relate to that a lot, and like the scene at the end, I'm not going to spoil it now, I just got so emotional. It was like too much. It was too much for me. So I don't know, this episode really, I know I cry in like previous episodes and I am the softie on the panel, but this episode really affected me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very understandable. It's very packed, and I love what you said about it being a choice, because this character, Samir Patel, he felt so convicted. His character was very heavy. There was so much weight on him the whole time. So we're going to talk about that. But before we talk about him, let's talk about denial. Because I have to admit, the second I saw Arthur Finer up there just big kicking it over brunch with Allie, like nothing was going on. Like, yeah, I'm going to call her. It's going to be good. Da, da, da. I'm like, sir, you offended Trish.
Right.
Is Arthur in denial? What do you think?
I just finished watching Love Jones because they just put an awesome black movie on Netflix, and I just see the Love Jones all in that, just playing games. What you playing for?
Quit playing games with my heart.
That's all I gotta say on that. It's just like, stop playing games, baby. But you know what? I'm going to say that for predictions. But yeah, what y'all feel about that?
Yeah, he feels like he has it in the bag, and this is something that bothers me. I feel like even though he's a good person, we know he has good intentions, I think sometimes you get comfortable with your partner and you start taking them for granted, thinking that they'll always be there, even if they're not getting fulfilled in the relationship. And I think that it's really foolish to think that way, because you have something great, like, nurture that. Right. Don't take it for granted, because it could not be yours, and he's not really getting that she could she could really walk away from all of this. And if he keeps saying, wow, she's the love of my life, she's like one of the most important people to me, then show it.
It's such a hard thing to it's such a fine line, because here's the thing, right? Love, purpose, all those, like, how do you choose between the love of your life and the reason why you're here on earth? You know, like, I that's a and then also there's a fine line between faith and being comfortable. Like, you know, having faith that it's going to work itself out, because if this is what I'm called to do and this is really who God meant for me to be with, it's going to work out. So I don't think that you don't work for it. I mean, it's just, again, where do you find that happy medium?
But Fred, you know, faith without work.
Faith without works is dead. I know, that's what I mean. So how do you find the balance, though? Because it's so, I think it's kind of judgmental of us to just pass judgment and say, oh, he just thinks he got it in the bag, because we don't know his heart. His heart, he might be speaking from a place where he genuinely has faith that if they've built a foundation that's on solid rock and that's really on love, that they'll figure out a way to work through this, and he's just giving her time and space, right?
But it's cool what he's saying, but it's his actions that's bothering us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's just
I can understand that too. I get you're saying, like, you know, we don't know what's in his heart, but I think at the same time, like, you could have good intentions and have a good heart, and I think he does have good intentions and have a good heart, but what does that mean if she doesn't feel that love?
Right.
He can feel that towards her. If he's not communicating that in a way that makes her feel loved, then what's she getting out of it?
I agree.
He can love her to the moon and beyond, and she cannot feel it, and then why is she even in this relationship? She can know it and not feel it, and then it's like, well, I could get this somewhere else.
Which is why you have to find that happy medium, you know, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's definitely a fine line. A part of me thinks he really doesn't know better, and that he does need to have conversations with Miles and Allie to kind of jumpstart his behavior. You know, sometimes we know things, and he's a mature man, he's been married and all these things, but that's also the good part about having good people around you, because sometimes they just need to spark the idea in you to make a move.
That's true.
I think he did seem a little green, like, oh no, like you said, I'm just gonna give her space, like, we built this foundation, this is my one, and we're getting married. He was very matter of fact.
I feel like sometimes women also say they need space, and it's like, I need a little bit, not a lot, and I think he's giving her too much space, where it seems like he's not even fighting for her at this point. And I mean, how long do you expect her to just wait around as you pursue your passion? Like, what is she there for?
And she's too old to be playing games.
She's not gonna just, like, it's one thing to support your partner and be like, I understand this is your life's purpose. I support you, honey. I love you. But at what point does it become your work is your priority and your relationship isn't, and you're not balancing the two? I get wanting to make your purpose a priority. Your purpose should be your priority, but so should the love of your life. And if you can't balance the two, then you miss out on one. And, like, I don't feel bad for you if you miss out on it, because you could have fixed it.
I mean, you better go in on him.
Girl.
Okay, Mina.
Okay.
All right.
I just have to nod her off.
And this is coming from the biggest Arthur Finer supporters.
I'm just so happy
It's
that
real.
you removed yourself from looking at him as, you know, Joe, and looking at him as Arthur, because he is a flawed character. You know, he's not,
We all are.
And growing and evolving, just, you know, as we all are. I love that. Such great feedback on the denial. That's amazing. So we were seeing the same denial kind of in Allie's character.
Yes.
But it's the other side of denial, where she's coming to realize that the denial she was in was for a reason. So she wrote her paper and it wasn't approved by her mentor. And she discovered, the passion's not there because she has a passion for something else. That's shedding light on old denial and moving into a different path. So what do we think real quick about Allie and that discovery for her?
Well, you know, let me sip my tea. No, I mean,
I was like, okay.
it's because I called it, but I'll save that for predictions. But it was interesting because it's true. Like, we're going down a certain path, a certain journey, right? We think we know what direction we're supposed to be going in. And then life comes in and changes. And so I don't necessarily know if it's denial. I think that when you've been pursuing something for so long, it just makes sense that it's right. And sometimes when you feel this thing in the pit of your stomach, you don't know what that is. And it's not necessarily denial. It's like, oh, maybe I'm getting cold feet because I'm nervous because I'm almost at the finish line. Like, she's almost at the finish line. So, like, you start thinking, oh, something's trying to stop me from getting to my end goal, as opposed to, like, it's really what you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, and she had to have another person. Sometimes we need people around us to bring that to light. What did you think about her switch?
I mean, it's dope when you see someone have an epiphany, especially on camera. It's pretty fun to see, and it just shows how life is you plan something one way and then life comes and do something else. But it's awesome. It's an awesome journey. It's a blessing that we're here to all experience that. So when I see that, it just shows me that you think you got it, and then you just don't know what's going to happen next month, next week, next hour. You know, just go along and have fun with it. So it's pretty fun to finally see, to shed some light on Ali, because, you know, we don't really see her much on the show. We see her, you know, we come to the bar, she makes a little drink, she do her thug thistle. But, you know, now it's about that time. Like, I'm trying to see baby girl. So,
Baby girl.
we're trying to see you. So it's excited to see that she's going to have a lot more fun in this season, because clearly we have more to play on.
Yes,
so
like
that's what I
almost.
see. I'm excited to see what you about to do, girl, because now she need a new boot thing. You know what I'm saying? She got a new,
Does she have a new boo?
No,
she's
it's
saying we
space
want to
for
see
her.
a new.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
She
she's
see,
stripped
I was
from
like, wait a
everything.
minute, I missed that. Please don't mind me.
No, you know, like she doesn't have much to play on right now. So
Gotcha.
now
Yeah.
it's just all for the new. And that's a word for us all, you know, like just when you're thinking everything, you know, don't worry about all the negatives, or you thought, oh, you shed light. What was the word that she shed light on her old dreams or something like that?
I don't even remember.
But just like, you know, all the old things, denial.
The
You know,
deni-
all
yes.
those old denials that she had, it's like now you have something new to look forward to, all this new fun stuff. So I'm
Right.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see her character grow.
I
Absolutely.
really hope we see her get involved with the God account, because we had, you know, other people get involved with it, but I feel like just something from her perspective, because she always has the best advice.
She
Right?
really does.
She's the voice of reason, she's a psychologist, and I feel like watching the rapport between her and her brother working on the God account would be really cool. I really want to see that happen.
That would be fun. That'd be really good to see.
But kind of like she needs her own light.
She needs her
She
own
needs her
life.
own lane.
Well, it kind of looks, well, from the looks of things.
You
looks
know,
like
she
that's
might be
where
going
it's
into
at.
ministry.
So we will see about that. But before we move on to our second topic, Mina, do you want to let the good fans know?
Yeah, so if you're not subscribed to us already, click that subscribe button right now. Leave us a comment, because we read everything you guys send us, and it's a better way for us to engage with you. Make sure to leave us 2 thumbs up. But if you're not on YouTube right now and you're not watching us and you're listening to us, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Give us a little comment there. We'll read that too. You know, that obviously helps us to continue to grow, but it's also cool because we can do what we love every week and engage with you guys. So thank you so much for helping us be the ESPN of TV Talk. We also have a bunch of other channels at AfterBuzz, not just AfterBuzz TV Comedy. We have AfterBuzz TV Reality Channel, dramas. So you can subscribe to all of those channels on YouTube.
Yes.
Period.
Do it. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
And thank you to everyone who's on the live chat.
Yes.
Ashton Knight said, I feel like the person you're seeing should be understanding when it comes to your dream job, especially when it gives you the opportunity to help people more.
Wow.
That's good.
Like, if you're
Thank
doing
you,
good
Ashton.
onto the world, it's kind of selfish to just keep that person all to yourself.
Yeah, I understand.
I've
Well, I
been
don't
saying
know.
that for a few weeks now about Trish.
It's
like,
that fine line
ma'am,
thing.
sit down. You want him all to yourself.
But
Like,
what if I don't think it's that she wants him all to herself. She's not really getting any of him right now.
Well, she
Is
did
she?
go to the farm. I mean, maybe she'd be getting more. If she
right?
stayed in
She
the
didn't
city.
disappear. Like,
But she's not here to receive at the moment. So, unfortunately,
he does make time.
he can.
He
This
just
is
isn't
very new.
Right.
I think it's hard if she's retired and doesn't have anything going on and he's
Right.
consumed with work 24/7, and they had that conversation already that they both would be retired together, thinking that they have endless amounts of time with each other. It totally shifts the dynamic when he's working and he's busy again and she's not, because now she has a surplus of time where she's kind of just like waiting around for him, and she's like, well, why am I like living my life waiting
I have
for
a
you?
prediction on that.
I don't know. She has to
Ooh.
find her own passion, maybe.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So we'll see soon what happens with them two. But next, let's just jump into our second topic, because Samir Patel, one of the characters in the show, said something really powerful, that karma isn't real. And I think it was Rakesh. He was talking about Hinduism and whatnot, but they likened karma to spiritual cause and effect. So I kind of like that simple
Right.
term of things.
Wait, doesn't Samir believe in it? Because that's what the whole lottery situation.
Yeah, he believes in karma, but I'm sorry, his brother, one of them said that karma wasn't real, and it
was
sparked
Samir.
us to kind of.
No.
Samir is the guy
believes in
who
it.
believes in it.
Jay, maybe it was his brother. Either way, we want to talk about karma because this is something that Samir's character took very seriously.
Right.
So what do you guys think? If you found a lottery ticket on the ground, do you think the way he viewed the ticket, his wife's horrific getting hit by a cab out of the blue death, and all of this, is that how you would have played it? Do you think he was in the right space? Why, Mina?
Okay, here's the thing. I totally understand it. Here's the thing. I don't think karma is necessarily cause and effect, but I do think that there is a correlation there where you don't know what caused the other. But now that this happened, this tragedy happened while he found the lottery ticket, it's not that caused his wife to die, right? It's that now he has a negative association with the lottery ticket because of his wife's death. And because of that negative association, he's trying to steer away from anything that he thinks is morally corrupt because he doesn't want to have to deal with that negative association again. And I can totally 100% relate to him because I don't think it's necessarily the point that karma is real or karma isn't real. I don't think that matters. And I get into this discussion all the time with this person, and I get so frustrated because he always says, no, life is filled with coincidences, luck, happy coincidences, sad coincidences, and why do bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people if karma is a thing? But the way I see it is whatever good you put out into the world, it's going to come back to you. And yeah, you're going to have some struggles, but if you're doing things with good intentions and you have, you know, this thought that I'm gonna do good, I think that'll come back to you. It's the guilt that's eating him up. It's not this idea of karma. It's this idea of like he knew he didn't act in correspondence to his own ethics and moral compass. And that's where there's like a lack of alignment there. And I think that's more important than karma in this instance. It doesn't even matter what you call it. It's just acting in any way that isn't true to who you are is going to make you feel that way, and bad things are going to happen because you're not aligned.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that, I always say this to my friends and family, and I put this in myself, is that you pay for your peace. However, and I believe that his peace was worth more than $1 million. If something bad was to happen, when he cashed that in, would he be able to handle that again?
Yeah.
So it was worth way more. So it didn't really bother him. Of course, some people, it's like $1 million, how do that? But him having to deal with those second demons, God forbid, if anything would have happened, if a dog had got ran over as soon as he, you know, could he handle that?
Right.
And it's not worth it.
And it's not his to cash. And I get, here's the thing, this is what makes it so complicated. I get that there's this idea that, okay, if he doesn't cash it, then no one's going to get it. It's just going to go to some big corporation. Why not take it? I totally get that, and I totally relate to it. But at the same time, it is money that is kind of evil in a sense because it's not yours and it's gambling. It's like, it's not money that's earned. It's money that is won through luck. And I have my own thoughts on that. I don't think that gambling is inherently wrong, especially if that money is coming from a corporation that profits off of making lotto tickets that people spend $200 a year on. I don't know. I feel like it wasn't his money to cash, but just that whole process of him, you know, saying, I have to get it signed by the rightful owner instead of cashing it, I thought it was so extra. But it's crazy how it ended up being the thing that saved him. And that shows you that when you stay true to your morals and your ethics, like, it's almost like God wanted him to be there. And I feel like that made me super emotional because I went through something like that with, you know, finding my grandma in a way that I didn't want to find her, but like I was meant to be there at that time. Yeah. So like I related to the guilt. I related to like everything he felt, and it made me super emotional watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Franceli, what did you think about that?
You know, it's interesting because again, as a believer, it's really hard to buy into karma, although Ivan in the live chat was saying that it was Miles who said that karma wasn't real.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Ivan,
for clearing that up.
And it's interesting because the same kind of thing, because it's really hard for me to believe that like a woman who, you know, lost everything in a hurricane, or a family who lost everything in a fire, that's somehow their karma, right? Like I can't reconcile with that. But I do believe what you plant in the world, you get back. And even Ashton, who says he's an atheist, he believes in karma for the fact of cause and effect. If something, you do something bad, then so it's so tricky. It's such a hard thing to talk about because I will never tell someone you can't believe in that.
Yeah.
I do agree with Mina. Like, if you stay true to whatever conviction is yours, and it's really important to just do good onto the world, but it was so important for him to stay on this path, and that helped him find his freedom because he was so chained and bound to this idea that then he had to find a light at the end of the tunnel in order to free himself from how this idea was keeping him captive. So ultimately, I'm all about just people being free. You know, whatever that looks like for you and how you get there, that's your business. That's between you and who you answer to. But it's so important for us to be free here.
Period.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Samir did, and it was nice to see that his brother Jay came around and didn't give him a hard time about it, because having freedom is the ultimate peace. Like, it would have been terrible had he cashed it and, things snowballed from there, all to save a business. Then the business goes out again or loses a huge case or whatever it is. And then he goes back to, because we funded this with bad money and all of these things. So I'm glad he has the support system he needs, because it was really nice to see him, Judy, and Jay all get together and figure out how to save the business, which everything worked out in the end for everyone, I think, karma or not. I'm stuck on it, So there's points in my life where I believed in karma and I believe in God and all these things, but I kind of agree with Ashton at the end of the day, in part. If you put bad out, you're going to get bad back. And if you put good out, you're going to get good back. But then there's also good and bad that happens in between. It's just life. So
I have a question. Would you have cashed the ticket?
Yes.
I would have cashed the ticket. I don't know if that would have
Mina?
been.
I don't know. I really don't know.
So
If I
don't
found
know.
a lottery ticket on the ground, that's my blessing for the day.
Ooh.
I don't know if I would have gotten. I don't have a Rakesh in my life. I'm not gonna check no police scanners, talk to Kara, nothing. That I just.
So you'd cash the lottery ticket.
I cannot say that I would have thought twice about it. I would have been like, dang. If you find $20 on the ground, you don't call CCTV to see.
I usually do. Not even kidding. I don't call them, but I still remember ever since I was a kid, because I was such a goody two shoes. I still remember someone left $5 in this high school classroom, and I was like, oh my god, what if it's their lunch money? And I was freaking out, and I told the teacher, I was like, hey, someone lost this. It could be theirs.
They
so I just
stole it
gave
from
it
their
up.
mama purse.
Yeah, and
It belonged to you.
That teacher took that money and bought her own lunch.
Well, that's me.
And I remember the teacher was like, thank you so much for doing this. And
She was like, ooh, that's my weed money.
Yeah.
Teachers.
I just feel like I have to do whatever I can live with. I'm not gonna be like, damn, that $5. I could have gone big back in high school.
Well,
with that.
$5 and $1 million.
That's
is
two
a
hot
different
Cheeto bags, one
conversation.
Capri Suns, 2 Snickers.
For real. Yeah, so what about you guys? Let us know in the chat. Would you have cashed in the lottery ticket, or would have you done the good deeds? Did you answer? What would you do?
Some people, depends what day you catch me on.
I mean,
Ivan said, I must not be a good person because I would have cashed the ticket.
Hey, Ivan.
And Ashton said, this might sound wrong, but if I found a random lottery ticket on the sidewalk randomly, then I would have kept it.
Go.
Right.
Thank you for keeping
it's
it
so
a buck.
hard for me. Listen, my birthday's in 10 days. And when I was a little girl, my mom, I got to put that in there. You know what I'm saying?
My cash app is Fred.
You want to bless me?
If
You want to bless me? You want to bless me? No, I'm joking. But because it made me think about my mom. Like, there was a time where my mom didn't have any money to put together a birthday for me. And I can only think about how mothers feel. I was too young to even remember, but my mom told me the story. She found a wallet on the street walking, and she felt like it was God giving her, like there was money in the wallet, and she used that money to be able to throw me a birthday party. So it's like, is my mom a horrible person for keeping the money from the wallet? It's just so it depends. It really does.
Yeah, it does. Well, in this case, thank God it worked out. So we'll just go on to our third topic, because that was just so good. You guys, we're on a roll today. I love it. So let's talk about this number 11, because this is such a big topic. We're in an 11 universal year. This is the 11th month. 11/11 is tomorrow.
I really love 11.
Yeah, Jeremiah 11, Grinnell. There 11 numbers, the Grinnell picture.
One.
There's everything here. So there's so much going on with 11s. Let's just talk about numerology for a moment and the significance of 11 in this show.
Let's do it. I guess I'll get into it.
Yes.
Because, Allie, when she got up to speak tonight, she did quote a scripture, Jeremiah 29:11.
Which is?
So, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, but to give you hope and a future.
Oh, yes. I received that.
Sometimes
Hold on, real quick. I just want to shout out my sister. That's her favorite verse. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Keisha girl. You know, they done played you out. Okay, but go ahead, continue.
But they say, 11 is a master number. It's an angel number. It's really high in the vibration. But the number 1 itself is about leadership, optimism, positivity, and initiative. So when you master it and put it together, 11, the number 11 represents personal power, which is higher and more spiritual. So a lot of times it's associated when you see it repeatedly, like together, there's something's trying to tell you, like, it's time to look at what your purpose is, your spiritual guidance. So I think it was interesting. How fitting for this episode that Allie's trying to figure out, like, this is a crossroad in her life. But it says that you can be of great service to other people. This is like, it's usually around how to help others is what this number signifies. How it signifies. So I'm like, wow, Allie wants to serve people. That's what she was telling Miles in this episode. Like, man, you have a purpose. Our Father has a purpose. What is mine? And I really, really love that. And what I love too is that, we didn't talk about it, but Cara finally said I love you to Miles. Like, how do we feel about that?
A lot of new beginnings here.
Look at your face. Shade. There's so much shade coming from that side of the panel.
Smiling.
First of all, I knew the camera wasn't on me and you didn't have to do that.
She feels the type of way. How do we feel, guys? She finally said I love you.
It's about time.
Yeah, it's about time. I'm kind of over her and all that because Miles is a good man. He keeps showing up. He's been there for her. He's been solid. So for me, she's been pussyfooting behind too long ago for me. But it's nice. I'm glad she finally had a moment to overcome her fears and what was holding her back. But girl, you put day late and a dollar short, but that's okay. Everybody's allowed to move at their own pace. But I just kind of was like, all right, great. It was kind of just a side note for me because I was kind of hoping for it a few episodes back. That was my take.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get the frustration with that because it's like, how did it take you this long to say that? But you have to keep in mind we all have different capacities to love and different paces. And I think that's really hard for me to remember because I'm someone that if I'm with someone, I want them to tell me how they feel, like every step of the way. I don't want to have to wait for things forever. Like, I don't like that. I want someone who's expressive, who can open up to me because feeling like you're pulling teeth is hard. So Miles has been really patient with her. But with that being said, I feel like if you have like years and years of abandonment issues, trauma, you can't expect that to be resolved overnight with like one relationship. That's something that takes time. And I think it's beautiful that they've been able to work through that and be so patient with each other because that's hard. It's hard to like know how you feel about someone and be able to express it and someone else not be able to like reciprocate it in the same way that you say it. So Miles is a really tough person who's very patient to be able to, handle that with someone he loves so much.
Did you have any thoughts on it, Rochelle?
Not at all.
All right. Well, moving right along. No, it's okay, but we think it's sweet, and me and I can take that to heart. That's very, true. There's two sides of the coin.
No, I mean, I don't have nothing really negative to say on that. Because honestly, everything you guys were saying, I was just meditating on it, and it is true. Like, to be fair, like, Cara did go through a lot, especially with her parents and her upbringing. So, I really don't have a comment on that. We're all team Brandon. Excuse me, Miles. And
they're on a first name basis, apparently.
Wow. Look who's talking.
Shade. I'm gonna sit my
Brandon don't know me. Brandon do not know me, y'all. But what's up, homie?
He knows us. He loves us. Shout out to Brandon Michael Hall. But yes, so we love seeing the evolution of the character, and we're so grateful for that. So I think this would be a good time to dive into some news and gossip.
There's a lot of gossip coming from this one.
Hey friends, I'm Rochelle and I'm here with your good news, and I'm so excited for these news because it's good news. You feel me? So last season on God Friend and Me, the God Friend and Me cast came up with this challenge called Pay It Forward Challenge. So basically all you do is, to be a part of this, you would tell them about something awesome you have done, something big or small, some type of plant. So just for instance, if you help someone out at the store, or someone needed help, or any way that you can help someone, just the little things that matters, which keep us all keeping the positivity in this world and being awesome. For example, like myself, because I was thinking about like, what can I do? And yesterday I was getting some gas. The lady, she asked if she can go ahead and put some gas in my car. They usually do that for tips. I didn't think I really had no funds, or I didn't think I didn't want to give no money. Anyway, I told her no thank you. I did my own gas, but I overheard her and I talked to her and I was just like, hey, were you working for tips? And she was like, yeah, I just want to get some fruits. And I went ahead and it was led on my heart to bless her with something because I didn't have change on me. And it felt really good. Of course, to me, I feel it is always better to give than to receive. But that was just like something paying it forward. So I want to extend that invitation to you guys, our awesome friends, to go ahead and pay it forward some way, somehow. Awesomely, if you want to see some great examples, you guys can go on Brandon's Instagram.
Oh, do we have a video?
We did have a video, but unfortunately it didn't go through.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh,
the video didn't go through.
Find it on Twitter,
it's
though.
on
But you
Twitter.
can find it, yeah. So go ahead and go on Brandon's Instagram. That is at Brandon. What is
Michael
that,
Hall.
friend?
Brandon
Michael Hall. You know, and you guys can go ahead and look on his page. He has awesome videos of some of the cast members all explaining certain pay it forward stories
They were
that
really
you guys
great
sent in.
stories.
They were really beautiful. But to end that in, I seen a beautiful thing that he said. And he said, you don't need to be friended by God to make a difference. And I thought that was really sweet because there's opportunities everywhere, you know, just by helping someone with directions, lending a charger because someone's phone's going to die, anything, giving some change. It doesn't matter what it is. We all can make a difference. So I want to extend that invitation to my friends and to you guys. And that is it with the good news with Rochelle.
Awesome. I'm inspired to pay it forward. I'll leave a comment, you know, not to be like, oh, this is what I did, but I'll try to do a little pay it forward and, you know, put a comment below and you guys do the same. So before we get out of here and talk predictions, let's get into our special segment, God Speaks. So this is the segment where we talk about things that have happened during the week, where we think God was speaking to us or something that moved us forward. So does anybody have anything that came to them this week where you're like, you know what, that was God?
Yeah.
Well, I want to say what God spoke and also speak to our friends on the live because, you know, I even had said something on the live. They said, you know, that this show doesn't really try to make believers or it's about religion necessarily, the show, and that we talk about religion a lot. But I do want to say that even on tonight's episode, Rakesh was someone who expressed like, hey, I may not talk about my beliefs all the time.
On a podcast?
But I don't got a podcast to blast it out, but I do believe in certain things. And fortunately, we do have a podcast to air out what we believe. Some of us believe, some of us don't. Some of us believe in all kinds of different things. And same with y'all in the chat. Continue to talk to us about what you believe. And we're here to just love on one another. But, you know, we're just here to talk about the things we care about. So with that being said, what I heard this morning was you've made mistakes in the past that caused you to go through experiences you rather avoid in the future. Maybe you dated the wrong person. Maybe you took on the wrong job or allowed people to disrespect you. Whatever it was, just know that you were doing your best at your level of consciousness and that it cannot constrict your freedom to decide going forward. You're wiser now. Those mistakes helped tremendously. You're entering a phase where you'll want to be open and free with your decisions. You're attracting better now. Live your life as if you've never made a poor decision. And
man, I respect that. That is like the perfect word.
I needed that so bad going into this new orbit of my birth. It was just like, yo, my mistakes are not who I am.
Amen.
And I can't continue to walk in those mistakes. And I do want to live free in a way where, like, I want to make decisions moving forward as if I didn't make those mistakes. Like, that's how children are. Children forget, like today at church, one of the little boys, he peed on himself in front of everybody. And it's like,
It happens,
you know,
bruh.
it happens when you're a little kid, you know?
I love that this is the example.
And you know, tomorrow he's not gonna not get up in the morning and put on his pants and walk around because he's living with the fact that he peed in front of everybody, you know? And I think
That's
children
amazing.
have this way of, they keep going and we just hold on to those scars.
Yeah, this feels like a Billy Madison.
I love it. Oh, I just
Without
feel
him
that
being
good energy. Yes. What about for you guys? That was amazing, Francine. Thank you
thanks.
so much for that.
For God speaking to me is kind of different. I was told to not speak. So I had got some awesome information this week, probably like Wednesday, and just a lot of epiphanies, and I felt God in everything I was doing, like literally from braiding hair to going to work to driving to talk to my parents to getting an opportunity. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's all connected, like what everything's on the same word. And I was so excited that I can cry, and I wanted to talk to somebody and express that to them. And I called my mom. She didn't answer. I called some guys. They didn't answer.
Oh my God.
And I heard God say, be still. And I was like, nah, I got to talk to somebody. And they didn't answer. And then I stayed in my car, and I was like, let's just write it out, because clearly you want to get it off your chest. So I journalized it, and then that was the first time I really felt like being still. Like, this ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when God speaks
So
to you,
good.
it's not for you to speak and tell everyone else, because it's not for them to know. It's for you to experience it. And I shut up. And when the time is right, I'll be more than
That is some growth. That is powerful.
That's maturity.
And you know, when the time is right, I'll be more than happy to, you know,
Share it.
But I think it's levels to it. So I think it won't happen until like the future, when it's just like boom, like all of this happened, and this is why I told you to be quiet. So I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna honor that, and I'm gonna be respectful and be obedient.
I'm really weird with that. Like, I don't like to jinx things, but I really want to tell the people that I care about. But I'm like, but I don't want to jinx it, and what if it doesn't pan out? Let me just like wait and see it through. So I think sometimes it's important to just like give yourself the win and not rely on external validation of people telling you you're awesome when you already know you're awesome.
Come on, somebody.
Yeah.
I like that.
So for me, I was going through this weird rough patch career-wise, and I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not getting where I want to be. And I go through ebbs and flows of this, where I feel like I'm up here, then I feel like I'm down here, then I feel like I'm up here again, because it's the industry. So I was going through this like tough time, and my best friend was talking to me, and she's like, you know, like, why don't you just go to law school? Like, you would love law school. And I was like, yeah, maybe. And I was just like thinking about it, and I was like, this just isn't working out. And then the next day, I was like on the phone with a casting director, and she was like, I love your stuff, you're so good. Don't get discouraged by the industry. You just have to like keep pushing, and you're gonna find something that's good for you. She gave me some very motivational advice. And then something else she said that was crazy, because it was something that I was talking about during the week and thinking about. She's like, oh, I love the way you dress. It's conservative and it's classy. And I was literally going through this weird phase where everyone's like, why don't you dress a little sexier? Why don't you show a little bit more
Tis the
skin?
season.
And I remember thinking, well, I don't want to have to. Like, this is who I am. Like, I don't want to have to change it up. And it was nice and reassuring and validating to have someone respect how I dress and do things and not just kind of like go with what everyone else is doing. Like, not sex it up as much.
Yeah, I love it.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, so for me, I've been hitting a rough patch of my own, where I was experiencing a lot of anger and rage. So I had to come to the end of myself when it came to that. And, you know, I had a lot of conversations. I'm blessed to be surrounded by good people, because when I don't got it, somebody got my arm, my leg, my shoulder, you know, so I can stay up. But I think what I got out of all of it, and what keeps coming to me loud and clear, and to be the answer to move into the next season, is acceptance and surrender. So those two, I mean, surrender is a word. If I'm not a tattoo person, but if I was, that's what, because I just believe in the word so much. But acceptance and surrender. So for me, what I spent the week doing, and we'll go into next week with, is writing myself a new story. Because, honey, there are some old stories that are not serving me anymore. They're kicking my tail, and I know I'm being like pushed to purge. So I have my purging moment, and now I have my love moment, and I'm gonna go ahead and write into, you know, my new story.
Well, we are proud of you, friend. That's beautiful.
Yes, very necessary. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Before we get out of here, we got just a little bit on predictions. Anybody got a moment?
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
No, what's up? Rakesh gonna bust up in his girl house and be like, you know what? We ain't got time for this, all right? Because you got some new dude with my boo. And I just hope you do that. We love you, Rakesh.
All right, I love
Who
that.
writes on Facebook walls anymore?
Me.
You guys still do that?
I don't do that. Honestly, my prediction is that, unfortunately, because they did this the back way and weren't being honest, Jaya's getting set up with this guy, and she's slowly but surely gonna fall for him.
Absolutely.
And it's not gonna work out. I'm sorry.
Oh
That's
my
my
God.
prediction.
Nobody's
My
better than
prediction
Rakesh.
is Allie's going into ministry. Clearly, this is her calling. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yes.
And those are my two big predictions.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I would piggyback off of something Mina said with Trish finding her passion. What I'm hoping to see is that Trish just come on in and get a fresh wind of a calling and purpose of her own in this season, and maybe help Arthur out. I would love to see them working together, and her kind of being the helpmate to him in this new project, but
Come on,
enjoying hers.
helpmate.
Yeah. So that'd be awesome to see.
I just,
got one?
yeah, I'm just predicting like bigger storylines for Javicia. I mean for Allie.
First name basis.
Okay.
That's your friend. That's your friend.
No, but yeah, I feel like I loved like the turn this is taking, where she's going into the ministry. Kind of reminds me of like Seventh Heaven and Beverly, and I like it. I like the storyline. I think it's good.
Yes.
And I don't know if I still believe in my prediction from last week about Kara having that like chemistry with a new guy at work, because she just said I love you to Miles, and I feel like now this is going to be a weird curveball that gets thrown in. So I don't know when that's going to play out, but I feel like it is eventually going to shake things up a bit.
All right, well, you guys share with us your predictions, and we will see you next week, same time, same place, for episode 8 of God Friended Me. I'm your host, Jamie Alexander, and you can find me on Instagram at Jamie Alexander.
And you know, your favorite Afro-Latina, Franceli here. Hang out with me at all the things at Selly Hangout.
And if you want to hang out with me too, you can hit me up on Instagram, and that is RoachBaby, RoachBabyee.
You guys can all find me on Instagram as well, at MinaMixMagic. I am your movie expert. We have a lot of good movies coming out this year, so tune into that.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.